Closed captioning is now on, and if we can begin with introductions. Did my screen share stop?
Yes, it stopped. I think you want to go to the next slide where the participants can see our faculty, right? It's frozen for now. I can see only the first, at least at my end. It says that live transcription has been enabled. Now, okay, great.
Wonderful. All right, Mr. Eric Hubbard, if you would please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Eric Hubbard. I'm an assistant professor here in the Business and Leadership program at St. Mary Woods College. My focus is typically ethics and not-for-profit leadership and topics that have to do with those subjects. That's me in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you so much. Dr. Lacomba.
Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. My name is Dr. Lacomba, and I'm an assistant professor of global leadership, and I teach primarily in the PhD in global leadership program, and then also will be teaching a course that's focused on global leadership and strategic management, and a couple others in the MBA program.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchell.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mitchell. I'm an emerita professor, which kind of equates to saying that I've been around St. Mary Woods College for a long time. My specialty is data visualization. I teach it in a variety of programs. I also teach some statistics and introduction to research, but primarily for the MBA program, I'll be bringing you data visualization. And I appreciate seeing all the faces that I know and remember from either current courses or past courses. So welcome.
Thank you. Dr. Ruiz.
Hi, I'm Michelle Rees, and I'm the chair of the undergraduate department and director of the graduate and undergraduate healthcare administration programs. That's generally my specialty, but I also teach some general business classes. And I'm really excited to be part of the new MBA program, and especially for students who are looking to do the concentration in healthcare administration.
Thank you. And last but not least, Crystal.
Hi there, I'm Crystal Cox. I am an associate director of admission here, and I'm here to assist everyone who's inquiring about the program, help connect them with faculty and staff in the program, and then also work you through the application and admissions process as smoothly as possible and answer any questions relating to that. So happy to be here.
Thank you. And Dean Lamprini, if you would give an introduction and begin with a program overview.
This is Lamprini Pantazi. I think everyone in this meeting knows me, but since that's a recording and we will share it, I work at St. Mary Woods College since 2007. So I have been working mostly with Masters of Leadership Development, and I'm full professor, but recently, the last 3-4 years, I have been the director of MLD, the director of the PhD, and recently 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago, actually, I became the Dean of Business and Leadership at the college. Pretty much I oversee the division of business and leadership, and with great excitement today, we will talk about the MBA program. It was one of the ideas that we had, and the team worked really, really hard to put this program together to make sure that's competitive, to make sure that fits in well with what we're doing, our expertise, our faculty, and of course, other programs that we have. MLD students or MHA students either can have a dual degree with those two programs or with MBA, and we will be able to discuss that in detail in the following. It's a very exciting day for me. So yes, you will flip the slides and I will do the talking, Miss Courtney. So these, go ahead.
I said, there you go.
Okay, so these program, the design, and after all these competitor analysis that we did, we decided to offer it as a virtual immersive. It's going to be 100% online. For those that are aware of the MLD program, basically will follow the online format of MLD. And we will have 2 starting dates in August and every August and February. So the first one is going to be February 2023. And the starting date, I think it's February 4th, right, Courtney? So we're very excited to welcome the first cohort. My anticipation is that for this, specifically for this first cohort, we will have a lot of MLD graduates because they were asking for an MBA program or courses throughout the years that will join us and take the rest of the courses needed in order to graduate with the MBA program. Of course, in this recording, we will cover all the information for students that they are coming for first time to have a degree and take a degree here at St. Mary's. And we will see also the options with different other programs, dual degrees, etc. Yes, Courtney? So once again, it will follow the format, the layout of MLD and MHA programs. So it's going to be 2 classes for every 8 weeks, fully online. And that's for students that they want to graduate in 1 year, exactly like the MLD. If you want to take it slower at your pace, you can take 1 course at a time and then complete the degree in 2 years if you don't have a concentration, and we will get to that in the following. So there is an option in this MBA program to get a concentration, add a concentration to that. So basically, this is something that you have to identify in the beginning because financial aid is linked to that. So if you want your program to be covered by financial aid and have a concentration, you have to say that in the beginning. You have to talk with your admissions officer and make sure that you do that. Yes, in the following, you could change your mind and add a concentration, but then you had to pay the concentration out of your pocket. So for those that they consider the concentration, please do this thinking ahead of time and make sure that you take that decision in when you enter the program. Now you can add 2 different concentration to your program, and you can have those 2 different options. One is the global leadership and the other is the health administration. You have to complete the general MBA first, and then with an extension of 6 months, you can complete your concentration for those that they choose to do so.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's Beth. I finished my MLD already, and I'm halfway through my MHA. So can I pick this one up too, or will that mess it up since it's a triple master's?
No, it will not mess up, but we have to do your coursework. I mean, you can do that either with Dr. Rees or with me personally and see what courses you are you have to take. And we can get to that and use you as an example. But for example, if you're getting the health administration, it doesn't make sense for you to get the concentration in MBA because it's already covered by the MLD. Does that make sense, Michelle, Dr. Rees? Am I right?
No, yeah, I'd agree. You've already taken those concentration classes within the MHA. So it better serve you to do a different concentration.
Exactly. So what I'm thinking is probably you will need only 18 credit hours for the MBA, Beth. And we will get to that because after you add all these courses and credit hours, it's getting complicated. So I don't want to lie, but my anticipation, I mean, my guess is that you will need 18 credit hours and complete the MBA. However, your concentration is covered by the MHA. Okay. You have triple masters by St. Mary's. God, how exciting is that? Thank you, Beth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, for all the support. So the concentrations here in your screen, you can see the courses for each one. So for global leadership, additionally, if you decide to have an MBA with a concentration, you have to take global leadership applications, responsible global leadership, and the global executive. And for the health administration, global healthcare systems, community health, and healthcare care quality. Once again, if you decide to do that, that will add 6 months to your track, to your course track.
Actually, Lamprini, it adds 4 months.
It is 4, you're right.
Because it's
Can you go back a little bit? Yes, it's 4 months because you are taking 2 courses in
And then-
one term and 1 course in the last term. So it is 6. Is it 6 months because of the? Hold on, we have to check that, Jenny, because probably 6 months have to do with the dual degrees with MLD because they have the master thesis in it. But you're right, it's 4 months because it's 2 courses and 1. I don't know if you put the 6 months here, Courtney, for any other reason. And we have already questions in the chat. Okay, it's you, Jenny. Okay, 4 additional months. Double check. I would ask my teams to double check if there is a case that we have 6 months, because that sounds rings a bell. But yes, adds for sure 4 months, which is 2 courses of global leadership applications and responsible global leadership the first term after you complete the general MBA, and then 1 course in the following term, and so forth with the health administration. Yes, Courtney. Let's see the sequence of the course. It's in the next slide. Okay, so you will start in February on 4th, and the first 2 courses for those that they will be in the fast pace of 1 year. They will take the strategic leadership and management of global change. This is a course that everyone takes it. It's not a concentration course. So even for those with a general MBA, you will have this component of global leadership and management in your studies. And the data visualization and inspirational persuasion. So for example, a student from the MLD program that comes back to get the MBA will transfer this course in blue here. So for the first 2 months, for the first term, we'll have to take only the strategic leadership and management of global change, and so forth, if it makes sense. You can see the sequence of the courses, and the highlighted ones are the courses that an MLD student, and I'm focusing on MLD because we have so many today in this call. All these highlighted, as it mentions here, are courses that you have already taken, and these are the courses that you will transfer. So basically, whatever it's in white, an MLD graduate has to take whatever is in white without the concentration to finish in February 2024, if that person starts in February 2023. So it's 6 courses, 18 credit hours. Yes, Courtney?
One thing that I will point out is the Global Leadership, or GL 584. That can be confusing since the concentration courses are GL as well with the index. However, this is one of the courses that is part of the MBA's core curriculum. So it's not part of the concentration, it's part of the core curriculum.
Yeah, I'm glad that you double, how can I say, underline that. And that's what I said when we did the competitor analysis. We wanted that global component to be in the core courses. Even if you are taking or not the concentration area, you will be exposed to this information. Yes, thank you. Next slide, please.
So this is if you are doing the concentration, what this looks like. So you wrap up your core in February 2024, and then that next set of 8 weeks is where you begin your concentration courses. On the website, where we have information about these, is where it does indicate that it'll add 6 months to the length of the program. However, we can look at the outline of the dates to make sure that the timing of those months is correct and that it's 6 months.
And that was the thing. It was that the way that the sequence of the courses were placed throughout the schedule added up to 6 months. And that could be actually I would say a point that we can revisit later if we can make that shorter. For example, if let's say we have 5, 6, 7 students, a nice cohort that gets that concentration, I can consider as a dean or as the director of the program to add a course specifically for those students and finish earlier. But the latest that you will go with adding a concentration is 6 months. So it's 1 year if you go with a fast pace, February to February, and then February to June, you will complete by the latest your concentration.
Just to clear it up, normally the cohort courses would be 2 in the starting after the full core courses were completed. You'd have those start in February, and then you'd have a single course that starts in April. I think by putting the concentration areas in the same PowerPoint slide, maybe it's a little confusing.
For those, they're taking the different ones. Yes, and these actually, the logistics of the offering of the courses, I mean, even if we have the schedules ready for 2026, 2027, these sometimes can change slightly, but I wanted to go with a worst case scenario, which is 1.5 years with adding the concentration, or I would say 16 to 18 months. I think it's time to get questions. I don't see anything in the chats. My students are my graduates, and some of my students are patient, I think. But I think it's time for accepting questions or concerns.
Okay, I have another question. Beth again.
Is this Beth? Beth?
Yes, yes. So I'll turn my video on, sorry. So I am in my MHA program right now. I have a class, I just finished a class in August and started October, and then I have one in December and one in April.
Mm-hmm.
So is this something that I could start in February, or do I need to wait until August?
That's a great
since
question.
I'm only taking one class.
And hopefully Crystal can give us her insight to that, because there were some restrictions. And once again, at the time, we have to see if you pay out of your pocket, if you use financial aid. There was a glitch that you couldn't be enrolled at the same time. And I see Crystal nodding to two different programs. So if we approach that as a dual MBA, or in your case, triple, I think by yourself, you're just a case study for us, and we can get back to you. Because you're taking one course at a time, I would consider that. I believe that you would be successful. The thing is that if from the register is something that we can do. I have a question for you, Crystal. Maybe you can give us.
Yeah, and I will double check on this as well, but I remember Mindy, a former admissions worker that was more familiar with MLD, MHA applicants and doing the dual programs, that there was a technicality that whether it be the registrar and financial aid or both needed the student to technically graduate from the first one and quote, reapply to the next one. So it's kind of a clean cut, even though it's dual. That was my understanding of it. So I can double check with both offices and see why, if that is what they're wanting you to do, or if you can go right into it, and I can confirm that with you all.
Yes, that would be great if you can send, and we can have from Courtney all the emails of the participants, and we can get back to that. But this is what I knew, this is what we're doing, but maybe with a system that gets more complicated, if it's something that we can overcome, I understand people want to finish quickly. Why getting a gap if instead of one course they can take 2 courses and be enrolled in different courses? But we want to make sure that registrar agrees with us before we move forward and step on their feet. Any other questions?
I have a question. So
Yes,
I'm here as much for my own curiosity as I am for recruitment purposes, since I like to recruit
Know
people to our
that.
programs.
Yes, I know.
So if you go back to that screen, that's the highlighted courses and the credits. Yeah. So my curiosity about that is, for example, on the, and this is just the one that stands out to me. So like on the OL 553 financial management,
Right.
if I recall from MLD, those were two separate courses for organizational leadership versus
FP.
not-for-profit.
Yep.
And so in this case, is it truly only the organizational leadership financial class counts and not the not-for-profit?
And that's a great question. I will let, of course, Jenny, she is the expert to respond to that. But with common sense, people, individuals that are coming in MBA, usually they're coming from the for-profit world.
Right, right.
And the financial is about that. Now, I had cases in the past, few, but I did have, that people, individuals wanted to come and get a double concentration focus area. We were calling them focus area back then. So they had to take both courses. And from the nature, I think even if you work in non-for-profit, you're exposed in for-profit so many times. And at some point, we even taught at some point these courses in the beginning when we used that for economy of scales back then. But the MBA program, I would say, in the way that you see the courses is more applicable to organizational leadership. Now, if Jenny has to add something to that, I would love to hear, because she's our financial expert.
What I would add to that, Devin, is that there are some commonalities between the financial management and the NFP. We have some common financial statements, but the way the way things are measured is a lot different. You know, just think about a not-for-profit. They're not going to measure their success in their dollars. They're going to try to basically reach as many of their clients or however, whatever the not-for-profit might be. That's how they're measuring success. So there's a different perspective between the two. Now, that doesn't say that if we had somebody that had done the not-for-profit, the NFP 554 course, if they had done that, but they could show through experience or through what they're doing in their organization, or basically a discussion, it's possible that we could still take that NFP 554 if they had the experiential learning that would meet the OL 553.
And yes, go ahead, Jenny.
I wouldn't want to press it further than that, but because there are some major differences, the 990 versus the financial, there are some differences.
And actually, we have this policy in the graduate catalog, and actually in the handbook of MLD, it's the PLA, the prior learning assessment. So if we have a person that, yes, can show, and what that assessment basically measures is not experience, is the knowledge. So if that person, through that assessment, which we give the option to participate and apply, proves that has the knowledge, I would be more than happy. And actually, I will assign that probably to Jenny or to another faculty that we utilize for financial management to say, yes, that person can transfer. But honestly, I believe the person that comes for an MBA, they will know if they're missing this component, and for sure they will want to take this course because it will be designed to match the MBA world better.
Right.
And actually made some adjustments that even for the MLD students will be benefited from that, because it's elevated per se, or it has this additional dimension and content.
Right. And then have you determined an expiration for credits? So for past credits taken, like if I'm talking to other MLD alums, is there a certain distance back that should be the limit to how far back I reach when mentioning it?
That's a great point, because it's 17 years. But I have to tell you something. The fact that the MLD graduates, even before they graduating, they're getting promotions and they're thriving, and they are presidents in colleges and presidents in museums and all these, and they are 10 years back. Of course, I will accept them. But honestly, I think that we will approach that case by case.
Okay.
And the background of the information makes totally sense. The fact that we have that PLA, because maybe even someone is an accountant and came for MLD, I will not put that person to take accounting. So with a PLA, maybe I will be able even to transfer accounting for them. I mean, when I say me, I mean the director. I serve as a director for now. That's why I say me. So we will take all these in consideration. But I wouldn't put, I know that usually there is 10 years mark, but it's different when we talk about science, and it's different when we talk about business, someone that's in the field, exercises, practices, management, leadership, etc. So I would say, case by case.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Devin. Great questions. Any other questions? Lisa, I want to hear your voice. I know that you were in trip and had great time. I saw everything on Facebook. I can see you too, if you don't mind. I don't know where you're at, but
I wish you could see me, but my camera is not working for some reason on this computer today. I tried.
Okay,
So
I can
yes,
hear.
but it's good to see you, Lamprini, and everyone else. Thank you.
Good to hear you.
Dr. Pentazzi,
Yes.
Brian here.
Yes,
It looks like I'm in the MLD program right now and scheduled to graduate in August. So it seems like between the registrar's office and the scheduling, starting in February with this second concentration, or I'm sorry, second master's program probably isn't in the cards.
You cannot anyways. You're talking about the February 2023, Brian, right?
Yes, I am.
I think we discussed that briefly probably when I was on campus. 3 graduate courses, because you are in the fast pace with MLD, 1 year. You're taking 2 courses at a time. You're working full time. And I know that you're a higher achiever too. But in the past, when we had the dual degree with MHA MLD, the first few students that they tried to take 3 courses, they were not successful, even if they were higher achievers. So I wouldn't, even if the register allows to take 3 courses at a time, I wouldn't consider that, because I don't want to set up my students for failure.
Sure.
So in your case, I would suggest you start with the second cohort, the starting date in August. You will just wrap up your master thesis, and you will start the MBA in August, which is totally fine.
All right. And
as someone who just finished their thesis, you'll want all of that time to focus on it. I promise.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So you'll have an August, a starting August cohort schedule out at some point in the near future, I'm guessing.
Yes, it is ready. It is ready, but I wanted to focus for those so it will not get confusing. Actually, if we go back, you will see the idea here is we start in February with X courses, and in August, the new people, the new students that will come, they will join the cohort, the students that started in August, in February. So the sequence of the courses alterates every 6 months. So basically you will meet the cohort on halfway, and you will take the courses. The first courses of yours, let's say the first 6 months of yours will be the last 6 months of them, and vice versa.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
Any other question?
Well, I have some that maybe others are thinking and have not brought to the table. What if you want to transition or transfer? So you're currently in the MLD program, but you want to transition to the MBA program. What does that look like?
Yes, I wouldn't recommend that. It can become confusing. If you are in the beginning and you want to go in the MBA and just abandon MLD, with the conversations that I had, it seems that individuals would be in the wrong masters, which is not the case. However, if someone desires that, we have to see the courses that they have already taken, why they want to go to an MBA, and make sure right now, I mean, abandon one and move to the other, or abandon MHA and go to MBA. I mean, the combinations are multiple ones. I would have a conversation with the student to see why he or she wants to do that. and then take it from there. I'm not saying that it's not doable, but we want to make sure what courses can be transferred. Financial aid is involved in the process, so we want to make sure that it's the best for the students' interest, educational wise and financial wise. So once again, I will approach that case by case. Other questions? I think you have some more, Courtney.
I can't see the chat, unfortunately.
No, we don't have in chat, but I think you have
Yes,
some
I have questions. Yes.
we can use, and people maybe they haven't thought about, or
Sure. So we talked about the concentrations, recognizing that the concentrations can be more money, obviously more time. What is the benefit of adding the concentration to the MBA?
that's a great question. And because I'm talking for a long time, I will let Dr. Lacomba to talk about the global leadership concentration. And I will let also invite actually Dr. Rees to talk about the concentration of her area. So I will start with Dr. Lacomba.
Sure. Thank you. The global leadership concentration, as you saw, it requires 3 additional courses: GL 550, which is a global leadership applications course; GL 551, which is responsible global leadership; and then GL 552, the global executive. And adding this concentration certainly helps you to further engage and encourage your global mindset. And it definitely helps prepare students to globally integrate into business and a variety of different types of organizations. Global leadership is cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary, and so it's applicable regardless of if you're for-profit, non-for-profit, any kind of industry. You'll see elements of global leadership and the importance of having a global mindset. In addition, there'll be some immersive opportunities within the courses that engage different international partnerships and international opportunities to build your experiences virtually.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Lacomba. Dr. Rees?
Yeah, I actually have my MBA with a graduate certificate or a concentration in healthcare administration. So, I feel that it's a great thing to be able to have these kinds of concentrations and the opportunities that come with it. One of the benefits I found, and many of my cohort mates back in the day found, was, for whatever reason, you weren't in a place where you could find a position within that concentration, you still had your general MBA to fall back on. You also could combine the things you learned in your general MBA studies with the concentration itself. For me, it came in handy because my husband was a medical doctor, but a resident. And so we were moving all the time, and I was the primary source of income for a long time. And so I could pick up work and find a position wherever we were and with whatever we were doing. And it gave me a lot of flexibility. I, of course, think the healthcare admin is the best one, but there are really great options throughout the choices you have. But it's a nice opportunity to get an understanding of another path, more information about something, and to see if you want to learn even more about it later on also. After doing my concentration, I ended up just really enjoying healthcare admin and just further pursued that process. So I wouldn't have anything negative to say, or that it wouldn't improve a student's opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Beth commented about this, that she has just wrapped up her capstone thesis project for the MLD program. And I know that there are some students who are weary of writing another thesis or capstone. So what does the final project or the final piece of the MBA look like? Is it comparable to the MLD?
And that's a great question because we don't have a master thesis. Students are scared of that a lot of times. And the good thing, even for the dual degree, is even if you go MLD, MHA, because maybe I have students here that they considering this option still, you're doing one thesis. The only trick here is that you have to meet the requirements of MLD, which are more difficult. In order not to have the second MHA thesis. For MBA though, there is no thesis.
Wonderful.
And it makes sense. I mean, most of the MBA programs do not have thesis, they have capstone courses because the MBA from its nature, and once again, I have an MBA too, so it doesn't make sense to do research on the in the sense that as we do in Master of Leadership Development or Masters of Health Administration, is the nature of the program itself. So good news for those that they don't like long master theses.
In addition to that, the concentrations also do not have a thesis component, and there'll be a culminating project at the end of, or there could be, I should say, at the end of those courses that pulls together the program learning outcomes and the learning outcomes specifically to each of those courses, but there is not a culminating thesis for the concentrations either.
No thesis at all. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, Dr. Lacomba.
And I just want to add that I put in chat when those courses are required. They are set up differently. The two concentrations don't absolutely jive together because the MHA concentration, you have a February course and then 2 in April. And the GL concentration, you have 2 GL courses in February and 1 in April. So those were done because of when the courses were offered. And I wanted to add that because I went to the website and I didn't see the schedule on there. So I wanted you to be able to plan that and know that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Thank you.
Okay, so are there any other questions at this time for any of our faculty? All right, so we are going to transition to admission requirements, and Crystal, I will let you take the lead.
Sure, thank you. So the application process and the admission requirements for the MBA program are pretty straightforward. Of course, we need to see a completed bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited institution. That's usually not an issue, but we do make sure to check that where you've received your degree from. The program is looking for a minimum GPA from your bachelor's of a 3.0. Graduate work, they like to see a 3.0 as well. 2 years of experience. So there is a resume requirement as part of the application process. So submitting that should show the experience that you have working in your field. As it says there, you don't have to have specific career experience working in business administration, but just 2 years of experience working in your field. There is an essay component that I had on my end, I believe, unless that's changed, but I believe there's still the between 1,000 and 2,000 word essay requirement. And basically what you're wanting to do our MBA program and what your interest in MBA is. For those, of course, being a professional level program, we're expecting a base level of course, solid grammar and things like that. So really addressing your interest in the MBA, maybe adding what your goals are with the degree, things like that. And that's the main admission requirements. I would say that I will review applications initially and admissions, and if anything might be questionable or a special case scenario, or maybe someone's GPA is kind of right there, of course I would take that to the faculty and staff in the program to make a final admission decision there. Ultimately, just wanting to make sure that we're approving students for admission that we feel that will be successful here, because of course that's one of our main goals. We want you to succeed and not set you up for failure. I am your go-to for the application process. The application itself is very simple and quick. You can actually start your application and submit it without having all those additional requirements ready right at the moment. We recommend that in admissions because a submitted application helps us know that you're an applicant, helps us keep track of where you're at in the application process. And it's a helpful tool for you. You can log back into your application at any time and see the items we've received from you, the items we still need. So it helps you keep track as well of where you're at. So I recommend going ahead and applying, and don't be too worried about not having all the items ready at the time of pressing submit. You can log back in and add those later as you have them ready. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the application or anything at all. I'd be happy to help. I guess I do want to point out, sorry, I don't know that we have any international inquiries on the call right now, but there is some additional requirements as far as international school transcripts. And I can touch on those if that's the case for anyone. We have some requirements there to confirm transcripts if they need to be translated and so on like that.
Actually, Crystal, because this is a recording and maybe we can share that with international students or
Sure.
students.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like you very briefly to touch on.
Sure, yeah. And anyone, there could be, you know, students that live in the US but did attend an international school, a non-US school. For any of those schools, even if it's in English already, we require a course-by-course transcript evaluation through either two specific companies, WES, that's World Education Services, or ECE, Education Credential Evaluators. They're third-party companies we use to confirm the legitimacy of transcripts, to translate them into English if needed, and most importantly, to convert them to our US grading scale so that we can make a correct admission decision and see your transcript the way we grade and admit. Also, students that are applying and their first language is not English, we do have an English language requirement that I feel most international students are already aware of, and that's providing either TOEFL or IELTS scores there and meeting a certain score requirement. The requirement for the TOEFL is 80 IBT, internet-based. The IELTS exam, we like to see a 6.5. So submitting those official scores as well meets your general admission requirements for the admissions process. And then we have an international student liaison from there that you could talk to additionally if you were to, which this program doesn't require any on-campus, but if it would, or if that would be an option, someone that could help you with the visa process and all that goes into that, if that would be needed.
If we're transferring from like an MLD and we've completed our bachelor's degree at St. Mary's, do we still need to do, is there a specific place for us to mark that for our transcripts or?
Yeah, so when you apply and you're a returning student or have your degree from the Woods already, I see that on your application requires you to list the schools you've attended. And I'll know in that case, I request your transcripts from the Woods for you. You don't have to get that. I can get that for you. But any other school that you've attended that we don't have record of that may apply towards your requirements here, we would need you to get those.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Crystal. One individual that is not here with us today that I want to make sure that we provide information for is Amy Hauser. Amy is the Director of Financial Aid. And so if you're looking to pursue financial aid as part of this MBA program and you have questions, you are welcome to reach out to her. Again, well, we're probably being a bit of a broken record with this. If you are pursuing one of the concentrations, either global leadership or health administration, you have to declare that on your application in order for financial aid to cover the courses. You cannot pick those courses up at a later time and have financial aid cover them. So if you want to pursue that with more questions or have any concerns addressed, Amy Hauser will be your contact to do that. And I will make sure to send her contact information as well as everyone else that's been here on the call today out in a follow-up email.
There is a question in the
Valeria,
chat.
yes, I saw that,
I
Valeria.
cannot see the chat. I am sorry. What's the
I know.
question?
Yeah, I saw that, Valeria, and I do understand that this one, I mean, right now you are in MLD, and the fact that it's hybrid and you have some even limited requirements of being present on campus, that covers your I-20. In your case, because you are international, but you want to be physically here, I think maybe we can see that again case by case, and that's a case that if you meet regularly with a faculty, I think every week, and that's why I think we have to talk with Cindy Morgan about that. Still is doable. We have discussed that there are some ways to do it, but you have to have a physical presence and communication with faculty throughout the program. Now, you will have to transfer the 6 courses. Actually, it's 5 courses. One needs 6 credit hours. And you will have to take the rest of the 6 courses one at a time, I guess. Are you interested in the concentration too, Valeria, or we're talking about the general MBA?
Only the general MBA.
General. Yes, let's talk about that with Cindy. I believe that there is a way to do it, but some presence have to be here in a specific type of form, which we can define.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Crystal wants to add to that, but it's definitely not a no.
Yeah, I think there's just that thing that Cindy needs to make sure, depending on which program she is in, if the program has a requirement, an in-person component at all, then that can be what allows you to earn that I-20 you need to be here physically. But if the program doesn't require an on-campus component, it can be done fully online, and then technically no I-20 or visa is needed, assuming that you're not in the US. So for you, if you're here because of another program, that might be just some communication between Cindy and Dr. Pentazzi about if a special case scenario can be set up for you to allow you to be here physically to finish the MBA part.
Right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Valeria. And I think we're okay. Perfect. That's the application. That's what I wanted to see. Thank you, Courtney. The page. And let's ask for any last minute question. I mean, we don't have to stay here until the whole hour, but if you have any questions, I think it's the time. Last questions, comments. Are you excited about adding the MBA? I guess since you are here, probably you are excited.
Has there been, I'm getting into Dr. Jenny territory, has there been any sort of visual form that's kind of like a Venn diagram to show where credits overlap, or like a recommended sequence if somebody is planning on doing dual degree, an order that would be recommended, or an order that should be avoided, or anything like that?
No, the order actually, the way we have it set up now, it's not cohort based like the MLD program is. So with the MLD program, the courses start every time we have a new cohort. So like when we have the online cohort in the MLD in February, we do the hybrid in August, they are identical in how they go. In this program, we didn't do that. We actually start with a cohort, and then in February, and when the group comes in August, they're joining that cohort. So it part of it is economies of scale. It's basically making sure that we don't have small classes, that sort of thing. So there's a little bit of that, but we've looked at the way we've got it set up, and we believe it's going to work. So, that is, I would say that no matter what, that if you come in February or you come in August, it's going to fit you well. I don't know which of those you're looking at, Devin.
Right. So just out of curiosity, so essentially any way you stack it, if if the MBA operates that way, whether you do the MBA first or the MLD first or the MHA first.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
If you're asking which program makes sense to
Right.
do first, yes. But what Jenny describes, Dr. Mitchell, and she's right to that. Let's complete with this first. I mean, the fact that you don't start with the same people and end with the same people, I would say that it's the only difference. And pretty much in most MBAs, for example, I joined January, not in August, when I started as an international student. So people have already started in August. So we took different courses, and I had some remaining courses. There are no prerequisites in this sense. So it doesn't really matter when you're taking these courses. But regarding your question, it depends when this person is coming to see us. So, for example, if they come, I don't know, late April, and they say that I have this position, I'm going through this promotion, I would again see that case by case, as we do right now with MHA, MLD. I have students, and Dr. Ruiz has students that they're coming to us, and they're not sure if they want to start with one program or the other. And you know that MLD co-teaches some courses for MHA, so they feel more comfortable to come in MLD, or they want to start purely with MHA first and then get the leadership courses. So once again, I would say it's case by case with what they want to do currently or in the near future. So
Okay.
and that's the beauty of that, Devin, that it's
Yeah.
so flexible that you can start with any program. So if someone, let's say, starts with an MBA and concentration in MHA and goes to the MHA later, that person will take less than a few courses in the program. That's the difference. So
Yeah, very good.
I would love to see you in the MBA program though, Devin.
He's doing his PhD right now.
Oh, you
Yeah.
are?
Well,
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. I know that.
Let me finish one first.
Yeah, and that's a hard one, a huge commitment, the PhD. I love when all the participants have multiple degrees and they're really interested in complement what they have. And that's the beauty of the specialization in this era. You know, to see that something is missing and you come here, and this is what we read before I mean, in your eyes, in what you were saying, in your words, we read behind the lines and try to match your needs with a program that has a great quality.
Well, thank you everyone for your time today. I greatly appreciate it. I will put this recording with the assistance of our marketing and communications department on our website, and also make sure that it is accessible to you all via email. And if you have any additional questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly or contacting the global leadership at smwc.edu email address, and I will be happy to get you connected with the individual that you need.
Thank you all for participating. It was nice to see familiar faces and talk with you and hear your voices, and please be in touch.
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Nice job, Courtney Lamprini.
Thank you.